Hello all, how are you? Welcome to the class. Hope all of you are doing good. So, yes, today we are going to discuss a very interesting and important chapter from your class 10 students, that is life process. Yes, a chapter from a biology part, that is life process, which is once again I said is very interesting first of all, and it is definitely important, है ना? इंटरेस्टिंग हम इसलिए बोलेंगे क्योंकि ऑल द प्रोसेसेस दैट वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस, इसमें जितने भी प्रोसेसेस हम पढ़ने वाले हैं ये सारे हमसे रिलेटेड है ना, अकॉर्डिंग टू इन आवर बॉडी एज व्हाट वी आर डूइंग, इजंट इट? every processes it is related to us, so it is interesting to know about that. Yeah, so we will start this class. Let's start it, students. So we are going to discuss what is life process. सबसे पहले हम यही पढ़ेंगे कि life process क्या होता है. So any one of you, can you think about it? What is life process? Life processes, that means you will say, ma'am, the different processes of our life, yes, which is required for a life. Can I say like that? Yeah. So it is the same thing. It is a basic functions which are performed. There are some basic functions which are performed by the living organisms, isn't it? And why these functions are performed? So that a living organism can maintain their life on an earth, to survive, है ना? अर्थ में या फिर जिंदा रहने के लिए हमको हमारे रोज की लाइफ में जो अलग अलग बेसिक प्रोसेस, नॉर्मल प्रोसेसेस करने पड़ते हैं, isn't it? उसी को हम बोलेंगे life processes. Got it? So what are life processes, students? Anyone, if anyone wants you, so we can say that the organisms perform some basic functions to keep themselves alive. Such processes that all living organisms can perform to maintain their life is called or are called as a life processes. ऐसे सारे functions या फिर ऐसे सारे processes, basic functions जो हम जीने के लिए, life survive करने के लिए करते हैं, उसको हम बोलेंगे life processes. तो can you think about it? What are these different life processes? कौन से हो सकते हैं? Which are these basic processes that we are doing? Anyone? Yes, we can think about it like a very normal thing that we required every day. क्या लगता है? भूख लगती है? We feel hungry, isn't it? Yeah, so that is the first I can say nutrition, isn't it? Nutrition is one of the most basic process that we can say here. So we will write it down here that the first one we can use with black only. Yeah, the basic process that I will say, the first we can make it as a nutrition. Am I right? We can write it down here. Then any other thing, what is very important? खाने के अलावा और क्या है, तो जो without that we cannot survive. Without food, we can for some days, but without these things we cannot survive. Yes, it is nothing, but yes, what is it? Respiration, isn't it? Respiration is very important. If we will not respire, yes, for a few time also, the person cannot live, isn't it? So respiration is again a very basic function there. Then one more you can say, transportation, isn't it? Not transportation in a mera yahan se wahan jana, it is not like that, the movement of the body, but the transportation inside our body. हमारे बॉडी के अंदर जो ट्रांसपोर्टेशन होता है, so I can write here transportation. In this, we can also include circulation and everything, isn't it? And again, one more important, I can say it, that is excretion. Yeah, whatever the waste, it will be developed in the body or it will be formed there, or the food that we are taking in, जो हम खाना खा रहे हैं उसमें से जो अनडाइजेस्टेड, जो डाइजेस्ट नहीं हो रहा है, जो वेस्ट फॉर्म में डेवलप हो रहा है, उसको भी बाहर निकालना जरूरी है. Yes, if we will not take it out, it will become what? Toxin for our body, isn't it? So that will be harmful for our body. So these are some of the basic process. Other than that, we can also say reproduction is there. isn't it? When reproduction is also one process, growth. But students, I will say that these are the four what I have given. मैंने जो आपको चार दिए ना, they are very important and the basic process. The growth, reproduction, movement, control and coordination, these all are also the processes, yes. But we can, I can say that these are, without this also the person can live. It can survive, है ना? Without reproduction, a person can survive. An individual, if I am talking about, isn't it? Without movement, a person can survive. But yes, without nutrition, or without respiration, or without transportation, or without excretion, a person cannot survive. So these will be the most four basic processes that are needed. So these are the basic life process. I hope this is very much clear, students, isn't it? So now we can say here that these are the four basic processes: nutrition, respiration, transport, as well as excretion. Yeah, so we are going to discuss all these processes in detail. ये सारे processes हम detail में पढ़ने वाले हैं. Apart from this, we are also going to discuss about the reproduction. Yes, we are also going to discuss about the control and coordination. So don't worry, हम वो सारी चीजें पढ़ेंगे. But yes, ये जो चार है ये बहुत ही important है. You should not miss all this part. So please, सारी classes आप लोग attend करोगे. Try to attend all the classes so that your all concepts would be very much clear. Got it, students? So now, to perform the maintenance job like preventing damage and breakdown, this processes need some energy. If I want to do this life processes, है ना? So if I am talking or if I want to do anything there during the life processes, if I want to some suppose tissues are damaged, कोई हमारे body में tissue damage हो गया, cell damage हो गया, उसको repair करना है. तो मेंटेनेंस जॉब है वो, है ना, उसको रिपेयर करना है. तो रिपेयर करने के लिए क्या लगता है? रिपेयर करने के लिए लगता है एनर्जी. सम एनर्जी इट विल बी नीडेड. यस, so from where this energy is received, ये एनर्जी हम कहाँ से लेंगे? कोई भी चीज करना है, यदि हमको कोई भी हमारे बॉडी में रिपेयर का काम करना है, या यदि एनीथिंग दैट इफ आई वांट टू डू inside the body, for that I'll need energy. So from where do we get this energy? Yeah, so this energy I can say for the maintenance purpose, it comes from the food. Yes, कहाँ से आती है? It comes from the food there which we take. Isn't it? A body जब हम खाना खाते हैं, जो खाना खाते हैं उसके अंदर से जो एनर्जी हमको जब वो डाइजेस्ट होता है खाना, उसके बाद में जो आफ्टर एब्जॉर्प्शन वी गेट एन एनर्जी, and that energy is used for the maintenance purpose of our body. हमारे बॉडी में जो भी मेंटेनेंस का काम रहेगा उसमें जो एनर्जी यूज होती है, वो एनर्जी कहाँ से मिलेगी? जो खाना एंड और कोई भी ऑर्गेनिज्म खाएगा. Yes, because in the food we have different nutrients, isn't it? You must be knowing what are the nutrients, or anyone, what are the different nutrients that we have in our food? Anyone can think about that? Yes, you have proteins, you have carbohydrates, different minerals are there, vitamins are there, isn't it? So all these things are very essential for getting the energy, and which are obtained by taking the food in. I hope this is also again very much clear, isn't it? So in these are the example of nutrients. But if I say that what are the nutrients? So the nutrients are nothing but substances required for proper growth, yes, and maintenance of a living body. ओके, ऐसी चीजें, ऐसे सब्सटेंस जो कि बॉडी के प्रॉपर ग्रोथ और मेंटेनेंस के लिए रिक्वायर्ड होते हैं, जैसे कि मैंने बताया कार्बोहाइड्रेट, प्रोटीन्स, फैट्स, एवरीथिंग. या और वो यूज होता है कैसे? क्योंकि दे आर प्रोवाइडिंग एनर्जी to the organisms. Yes, and this energy is used इन वेरियस मेटाबॉलिक प्रोसेसेस। अलग अलग जो प्रोसेसेस हमारी बॉडी में होती है उस सारी चीज़ों के लिए ये एनर्जी यूज होती है। यस, तो ये हमको कहाँ से मिलती है? ये हमको न्यूट्रिएंट से मिलती है। आई होप दिस इज ऑल्सो क्लियर। या सो on this basis only, we are going to discuss the first life process in today's class, that is nutrition, isn't it? So we will see the nutrition. What do you mean by nutrition? Now remember, all the living organisms, students, they do not obtain the food in by the same process. जितने भी living organisms, like we are human beings are living organisms, we have birds, uh, or you can say many microorganisms are there, there are some unicellular organisms are there are different organisms on an earth, yes, but it is not necessary that all of them they will obtain the food in a same manner. There are different modes. So if before going for a detail in nutrition, we should know that which are the different modes of nutrition, isn't it? And what is nutrition? So first of all, if someone asks what is nutrition, we can say that it is a process by which an organism obtains the nutrients from the food and they utilize these nutrients to produce energy, yeah, for building and repairing their tissues. This energy is used for what? For building and repairing their tissues. ठीक है? So nutrition एक ऐसा process है, हम बोल सकते हैं जिससे organisms क्या करता है? न्यूट्रिएंट्स ऑब्टेन करता है। और ये न्यूट्रिएंट्स कहाँ यूज होता है? ये न्यूट्रिएंट्स बॉडी के लिए एनर्जी प्रोड्यूस करने के लिए यूज होते हैं। और ये एनर्जी से हमारी बॉडी क्या करती है? ये एनर्जी से हमारी बॉडी रिपेयरिंग और बिल्डिंग का काम करती है, नए टिश्यूज और सेल्स बनाती है। और कुछ सेल्स जो डैमेज हो जाते हैं, टिश्यूज डैमेज हो जाते हैं, उसका रिपेयरिंग काम भी करती है। एंड मेनी अदर मेटाबॉलिक प्रोसेसेस also it will be used by using the energy. It is done by using this energy. I hope this is clear, students. So this is about what do you mean by the nutrition. Now, what are the different modes of nutrition? On this basis, students, I can say that there are two main mode of nutrition. That is, we can make it, one is your autotrophic mode of nutrition. Yeah, and then another is what? Another is your heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Now, what is this autotrophic mode of nutrition and what is this heterotrophic mode of nutrition? I hope आप सभी को पता है कि क्या होता है ये autotrophic mode of nutrition और क्या होता है heterotrophic mode of nutrition. But if still we will just revise it out. हम इसको बहुत डिटेल में नहीं पढ़ेंगे, but yes, हम लोग एक बार देख लेंगे कि ये क्या होता है. Yes, so autotrophic mode of nutrition यानी जो organisms जब फूड मटेरियल को यूज करते हैं या ऑब्टेन करते हैं, कहाँ से? इनऑर्गेनिक सोर्स से, लाइक इनऑर्गेनिक सोर्स लाइक जैसे कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड हो गया, वाटर हो गया, और उसको यूज करके किस में कन्वर्ट करते हैं? ऑर्गेनिक, जैसे कार्बोहाइड्रेट में कन्वर्ट करेंगे। यस, और वो अपने आप करेंगे। ऐसे ऑर्गेनिजम्स को हम बोलते हैं ऑटोट्रॉप्स। एंड द मोड ऑफ न्यूट्रिशन दैट वी से इट इज योर ऑटोट्रॉपिक मोड ऑफ न्यूट्रिशन। Yes, so autotrophic mode of nutrition, that means organisms used this mode are, what are they called? They are called as autotrophs, isn't it? उसको हम बोलते हैं autotrophs। और ये autotrophs क्या करते हैं? They prepare their own food, वो अपना खाना खुद बनाते हैं। How they prepare their own food? Yes, by using simple food material. Yes, using simple food material from inorganic source. Yes, from inorganic sources, just like carbon dioxide and water. And what they do? they convert it into organic sources. Yes, so I hope this is clear. Example, we can say that plants, all the green plants, isn't it? And there are some bacteria also which use this autotrophic mode of nutrition. I hope this is clear. Yeah, if I move for heterotrophic mode of nutrition, यदि मैं heterotrophic mode of nutrition की बात करती हूँ, तो जो organisms ये वाला mode use करते हैं उसको हम बोलेंगे heterotrophs. What are they called? They are called as heterotrophs. Got it, students? अब ये heterotrophs क्या करते हैं? ये कॉम्प्लेक्स सब्सटेंस को यूटिलाइज करते हैं, उसको ब्रेक करते हैं सिंपल सब्सटेंस में, यस, बिफोर एंड उसके बाद में उसको एज एन एनर्जी सोर्स यूज करते हैं. क्या सो ये जो हेटेरोट्रॉप्स रहते हैं, दे आर नॉट प्रिपेयरिंग देयर ओन फूड, बट दे directly or indirectly depends on what? Depends on autotrophs for their food. That means they are not making their own food. वो अपना खाना खुद नहीं बनाते, वो autotrophs पे depend करते हैं. Got it? Example for that you can say human beings, isn't it? Animals, fungi, bacteria, ये सारे examples हो जाएंगे यहाँ पे. Animals, in that we can include human there, then fungi are there, some bacteria are also there. Got it, students? So what they do, the organisms, they utilize the complex substance and they break into the simpler one before they used as an energy source. Yeah, so you can write it down, utilize complex substance and break into simpler one. Clear? So this is for the two mode of nutrition, that is autotrophic mode of nutrition and heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Now students, we will discuss each mode of nutrition one by one. So first of all, we will see what do we mean by autotrophic mode of nutrition. Okay, now the autotrophic mode of nutrition where organisms converts what? Inorganic molecules. जैसे मैंने बताया कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड और वाटर से ऑर्गेनिक मॉलिक्यूल्स बनाते हैं, जैसे कि कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स. दे मेक द ऑर्गेनिक मॉलिक्यूल्स लाइक कार्बोहाइड्रेट इन प्रेजेंस ऑफ सनलाइट एंड क्लोरोफिल. अब ये सुन के कुछ याद आ रहा है, व्हाट इज इट? When an organisms with the help of carbon dioxide and water, yes, it forms carbohydrate in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. What do you call it as? Yes, it is a process like photosynthesis. याद आ रहा है ना? We call it as a photosynthesis, isn't it? Yes. So that is nothing but the autotrophic mode of nutrition. Got it, students? Now, inorganic compound, if I am saying, here you can say, आप बोल सकते हो कि मैम what is this inorganic molecules converted into organic molecules, isn't it? So can anyone tell me about this? What do you mean by this inorganic and organic? Can you think about it? Yeah, if I am talking about inorganic compound, मैं बहुत short में आपको बता दे रही हूँ. Inorganic compounds हमेशा याद रखो students, they lack the carbon hydrogen bonds. Yes, inorganic compounds, they lack the carbon hydrogen bonds. Whereas if I am talking about an organic compound or organic molecule, yes, वहां पर वो molecules में हमेशा कार्बन किसके साथ linked रहेगा? Carbon will be linked to hydrogen. It can be linked to oxygen or it can be linked to the nitrogen atom also. Yeah, so वहां पे कार्बन का बॉन्ड रहेगा. जबकि इनऑर्गेनिक मॉलिक्यूल्स की बात करेंगे तो वहां पर कार्बन हाइड्रोजन जो बॉन्ड है, इट विल नॉट बी देयर. Got it? So that is the difference between inorganic and organic. Or you can write it down all that also. Okay, students. So this is what do we mean by your autotrophic mode of nutrition. Now, if I want to discuss, sorry, yeah, this autotrophs can also be टू टाइप्स वी कैन डिफ्रेंशिएट. इसको हम फिर से दो पार्ट में डिवाइड कर सकते हैं. जो ऑर्गेनिजम्स ऑटोट्रॉपिक मोड ऑफ न्यूट्रिशन बताता है, वी कॉल देम एज एन ऑटोट्रॉप्स, isn't it? So the autotrophs can be again, they can be photoautotrophs. Yes, वो फोटो ऑटोट्रॉप्स हो सकते हैं, या फिर वो दूसरा होता है, वो होते हैं कीमो ऑटोट्रॉप्स. A photo autotrophs, it comes, the name only gives you what do you mean by that. Photo, that means photon. Photon, that means light, and that is nothing but sunlight. So this photo autotrophs, they uses or they utilizes what? They utilizes the sunlight for preparing their food. Yes, I hope this is clear. So when sunlight is used to prepare the food, we say that they are the photoautotrophs. A very good example I can say is your plants, isn't it? Algae, as well as there are some bacteria. Yeah, there are some bacteria also there which shows a photo, which are the photoautotrophs, like purple bacteria, green bacteria, red bacteria. These are the examples of photoautotrophs. If I talk about chemoautotrophs, now here यहाँ पे क्या बोला है? Chemo, isn't it? So यहाँ पे sunlight के बदले कौन सी एनर्जी लगेगी यहाँ पे? There will be a chemical energy. Yes. So this organisms, they utilizes chemical energy, students. Yes, they utilizes chemical energy to prepare their food. So instead of sunlight, they use a chemical energy. The examples you can take it, there are some bacteria, we call them as a chemobacteria also, और जिसको हम बोलते हैं सल्फर बैक्टीरियाज. यस, यू कैन राइट इट डाउन. सल्फर बैक्टीरिया के एग्जाम्पल है, फिर मीथेन बैक्टीरिया एग्जाम्पल है, नाइट्रीफाइंग बैक्टीरियाज है. यू कैन राइट इट डाउन. आई विल जस्ट गिव यू नाइट्रीफाइंग, then methane bacteria. So these all are the examples of your chemoautotrophs. I hope this is clear. दोनों में डिफरेंस समझ में आया कि ऑटोट्रॉप्स भी दो प्रकार के हो गए. एक होगा आपका फोटो ऑटोट्रॉप्स, इस जो सनलाइट को एज एन एनर्जी यूज करेगा खाना बनाने के लिए, और कीमो ऑटोट्रॉप्स जो केमिकल एनर्जी को यूज करेगा फॉर प्रिपेयरिंग द फूड. Yeah, I have given you the examples also. Also in the definition, as I told you, inorganic और organic molecules का मतलब आपको समझ में आ गया. एक तो मैंने केमिस्ट्री के हिसाब से आपको बताया कि इनऑर्गेनिक बोला यानी कार्बन हाइड्रोजन बॉन्ड्स नहीं रहेगा, और ऑर्गेनिक बोला तो कार्बन का हमेशा बॉन्ड रहेगा हाइड्रोजन के साथ, या फिर ऑक्सीजन के साथ, या नाइट्रोजन के साथ. या और दूसरी लैंग्वेज में यदि मैं बोलना चाहूँ तो ऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड्स आर दोज दैट ऑब्टेन डायरेक्टली और इनडायरेक्टली फ्रॉम द प्लांट्स. ये भी आप लिख सकते हो. यस, ऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड कहाँ से हम बोल सकते हैं, हमको कहाँ से मिलेंगे? डायरेक्टली या फिर इनडायरेक्टली हमको प्लांट्स के थ्रू मिलते हैं, प्लांट्स और एनिमल्स के थ्रू. जबकि इनऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड्स की बात करेंगे तो क्या रहेगा? ये हमेशा हम ये नहीं बोल सकते कि हमको वो प्लांट्स या एनिमल्स के थ्रू ही मिलेंगे. आई होप दिस इज क्लियर. तो इनऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड्स किसके थ्रू मिल सकते हैं? इनऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड्स हमको मिनरल्स के थ्रू मिल सकते हैं. यस, और कार्बन हाइड्रोजन बॉन्ड्स उसमें लैक होगा. So just if you have not written, you can write it down this difference also, because क्या होता है, to get everything understand, आपको each and every words meaning also it should be clear. यदि आपके दिमाग में ये चीज clear है कि what is inorganic and what is organic, yes, then definitely this concept, it will be always be there in your mind. Got it, students? So now this was about the autotrophic mode of nutrition. Now the next that we will see is your heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Yeah. Now this heterotrophic mode of nutrition यानी क्या हो गया? A mode of nutrition in which organisms derive their food from some other animals or plants. Yeah, because these organisms which use the heterotrophic mode of nutrition, ये organisms अपने खुद का खाना नहीं बना सकते. They cannot prepare their own food. If they cannot prepare their own food, they have to depend on some other. So they depend directly or indirectly on their plants, or they can also depend on animals also for their food. है ना? So there can be very different types of heterotrophic mode of nutrition. We are going to discuss some of them, but I'll give you some in short here. Okay, such organisms which use this heterotrophic mode of nutrition, हम उसको क्या बोलते हैं? हम उनको बोलते हैं heterotrophs. अब हेट्रोट्रॉप्स जो है वो अपनी एनर्जी कहाँ से मिलती है? उनको उनको अपनी एनर्जी मिलती है ऑर्गेनिक मॉलिक्यूल से, जो ऑलरेडी ऑटोट्रॉप्स ने बनाए हैं, क्योंकि दिस ऑर्गेनिजम्स आर डिपेंडेंट ऑन देम. दे आर टेकिंग द फूड फ्रॉम द ऑटोट्रॉप्स. आर यू गेटिंग इट? ऑटोट्रॉप्स में हमने क्या पढ़ा? ऑटोट्रॉप्स क्या कर रहा है? इनऑर्गेनिक मॉलिक्यूल से ऑर्गेनिक बना रहा है ना? जो ऑर्गेनिक मॉलिक्यूल उन्होंने बना के रखा है वो खुद अपने लिए यूज करेंगे, और जो बना के रखा है वो ऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड ये हेटेरोट्रॉफ प्लांट से लेगा. Yes, it will take it directly or it will take it indirectly. So we say that the heterotrophs obtain their energy from the organic molecules already produced by the autotrophs. I hope this is again clear. Yeah. So accordingly, I can say there, or we can say that the heterotrophs can be categorized. अलग अलग ढंग से हम categorize कर सकते हैं on the basis of nature of food. Yes, if I say on basis of nature of food, we can differentiate the heterotrophs as herbivores. आप लोगों ने सुना होगा herbivores. What are herbivores? The heterotrophs that eats only plants, isn't it? A very good example, I can say cow, deer, ये सारे herbivores है जो सिर्फ plants खाते हैं. Yes. इसी तरह से second हम बोल सकते हैं that they are carnivores. Carnivores, that means organisms that eat or that depend on the flesh of other animals. Example, lion, tiger, isn't it? जो सिर्फ दूसरे एनिमल के फ्लैश पे डिपेंड रहते हैं वही खाते हैं. Then one more is there, that is omnivores. Omnivores, they can eat both plants as well as animals. Yes, उनको दोनों चलता है. They can also eat plants. They can also eat the flesh of the animals. So like dog, आपने देखा होगा. Dog, it eats any other animal also, and it also eat chapati, milk, everything that we can also give it from our house, isn't it? Like cat, human is also an omnivore. Now many of the humans are like that, which eat meat as well as they eat the vegetarian food also. Yes, the food that is obtained from the plants, that also it is eaten. So this is the omnivores. One more I can say, हेटेरोट्रॉपिक और हेटेरोट्रॉप्स को हम ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ नेचर ऑफ फूड हम एक और लिख सकते हैं जिसको हम बोलते हैं इंसेक्टिवोर्स. स्टूडेंट्स, इंसेक्टिवोर्स जो कि इंसेक्ट पे डिपेंड होते हैं. यस, दे फीड ऑन इंसेक्ट, इंसेक्ट्स खाते हैं. Got it? So very good example, pitcher plant. आपने देखा होगा, आपने सुना होगा pitcher plant के ऊपर, that pitcher plants are the insectivores. They eat the insects. And one more thing, students, pitcher plant, they are insectivores, but they can also go for a photosynthesis. वो photosynthesis भी करते हैं, but photosynthesis से उनको जो nutrition चाहिए उतना उनको sufficient नहीं होता है. That's why to take an extra, they take this insectivores or this form of nutrition also. Remember this thing also. Yeah. Then insectivores are, other than this was a plant, an example, pitcher plant. यदि मैं एनिमल की बात करूं तो कौन सा एनिमल हो जाएगा जो इंसेक्टिवोर्स रहता है? लिजार्ड. आपने देखा है घर में छिपकली रहती है. Lizards eats insects also, isn't it? So it is an insectivorous. Birds are also there. You can say that birds also eat some insects. Na? Then one more is there, detritivores. Yes, detritivores, that means they feed on detritus. Detritus यानी क्या होता है? Dead organisms or dead organic material. Yes, dead organic materials. If they are feeding on dead organic material, we say that they are detritivores. Example, you can write it down, earthworm. Earthworm को हम detritivores बोल सकते हैं. Then there is one more. Just write it down. It is frugivorous. Yes, they feed on fruits. जो सिर्फ fruits खाते हैं. कौन सा है जो fruit खाएगा? Definitely parrot. You have seen parrots, birds. They are frugivorous. And the last I will say, it is what? Sanguivorous. Yes, the examples is leech. That means they feed on blood. खून चूसते हैं. Isn't it? This is called as sanguivorous. So on the basis of nature of food, we can differentiate or we can divide the heterotrophs as herbivores, carnivores, omnivores, insectivores, detrivorous, frugivorous as well as sanguivorous. यहाँ तक समझ में आया? Yeah, I hope this is also clear to all of you. Now moving for the next part. Next part, again for the heterotrophic only, I will say students that on the basis of what? You can see one more type of nutrition it is there. Yes. So this is again for the heterotrophs, but this is on the basis of mode of feeding. Yes, on basis of mode of feeding. I will write here on basis of mode of feeding. We can differentiate the heterotrophs as first is holozoic. Holozoic means holozoic. यानी पूरा खाना, yes, that means they are ingesting the food. खाने को directly ingest करते हैं, पहले मुंह के अंदर डालते हैं और उसके बाद में वो खाने का ब्रेकडाउन होता है, कॉम्प्लेक्स फूड मॉलिक्यूल सिंपलर में कन्वर्ट होते हैं, yes, और बाद में डाइजेस्ट होते हैं. यानी पहले मैं खाना मुंह के अंदर डालूंगी और बाद में अंदर जाके वो ब्रेक डाउन होगा, सेल्यूबल फॉर्म में कन्वर्ट होगा एंड देन डाइजेस्ट होगा. तो कौन इसको बोलते हैं होलोजोइक मोड ऑफ न्यूट्रिशन, दैट वी ऑल डू. यस, द ह्यूमन बीइंग्स, they are following the holozoic mode of nutrition. So in this type of nutrition, the complex organic food is taken in the body by the process we call the process as ingestion. हम इसको क्या बोलते हैं? Ingestion. Once the food is taken in through ingestion, उसके बाद में it is then broken down into simpler and soluble molecules. Yes, and this simple soluble molecules can be further digested and then it is absorbed by the body cells. एक बार absorb हो गए उसके बाद में उससे energy produce होगी. It will be utilized to produce the energy. Isn't it? हमारा main aim क्या है? Why we are taking the food? We are taking the food to make energy. Isn't it? Yes. So this is what is called as a holozoic mode of nutrition or mode of feeding there. Yes. So feeding on a solid food. हम इसको ये भी बोल सकते हैं that it is a feeding on a solid food. Isn't it, students? After that, it is saprotrophic. Now, before moving for the saprotrophic, just you can write it down this point also. Holozoic means feeding on solid food. You just note it down this also. Yeah. Now, one more thing. जब ये break down होता है, this breaking down of the simpler food into the complex food into the simpler form, complex food molecules को हम simple soluble form में break down करते हैं. ये कौन करता है? Who do this thing? Yes, so for breaking the food, the digestive enzymes are used. Yes, digestive enzymes are needed for breaking the food. याद रखोगे ये किसके हेल्प से होता है? Some enzymes are there and these enzymes we call them as a digestive enzyme. When we will see this मोड ऑफ न्यूट्रिशन इन डिटेल ना, जब हम न्यूट्रिशन इन ह्यूमन बींग्स पढ़ने वाले हैं, देन वी आई अगेन टेल यू विच आर दिस डाइजेस्टिव एंजाइम्स. ओके, हम लोग उसके बारे में डिटेल में पढ़ेंगे. नाउ दिस इज डन बाय द एंजाइम. जस्ट राइट, कीप दिस इन योर माइंड. ओके, और जो अनडाइजेस्टेड फूड रहेगा, अनडाइजेस्टेड फूड को क्या करेंगे? अनडाइजेस्टेड फूड इज थ्रोन आउट ऑफ द बॉडी, जिसको हम बोलते हैं इजेशन. Yes, this is done in a holozoic mode of nutrition. Example, you can write it down, human beings as well as, can we write it down? Examples, human being, we are, हम इसके बारे में डिटेल में पढ़ने वाले हैं, as well as amoeba. Now amoeba एक unicellular organism है, single cell का है. Human being is a multicellular organism. Both are using this holozoic mode of nutrition. Got it? Now, the second is saprotropic mode of nutrition. Yeah. So the organisms that use this mode of nutrition, उसको हम बोलते हैं saprotrophs. वैसे organisms को हम क्या बोलेंगे? उनको हम बोलेंगे saprotrophs, या फिर हम उनको बोलते हैं saprophytes also. So now how the saprotrophs or saprophytes obtain their food? They obtain their food from dead and decaying organic matter. यस, ये कोई भी लाइफ फूड पे डिपेंड नहीं करेंगे. यस, ये जो भी मरा हुआ ऑर्गेनिक मैटर रहेगा, यस, जो डिके हो रहा है, खराब हो रहा है, आफ्टर दैट द मैटर गोज फॉर डिकेइंग. यस, सो दे फीड ऑन दैट मैटर. उसमें से वो लोग, दे विल टेक आउट द न्यूट्रिएंट्स फ्रॉम दैट बॉडी. या so they break down the complex food material outside the body. Remember, look here, what was there? यहाँ पर holozoic में the food was taken in first and then it was broken down. But here they break the food material, the complex food material कहाँ से ले रहे? Dead and decaying organic matter से. और उसका breakdown कहाँ कर रहे हैं? Outside their body. Yes. और जब वो सिंपलर फॉर्म में उसको ब्रेक कर लेंगे, उसके बाद में दे विल एब्सॉर्ब इट. नाउ यू विल से मैम हाउ दे विल ब्रेक आउटसाइड द बॉडी? अगेन फॉर दैट सब एंजाइम्स आर नीडेड. यहाँ पे भी एंजाइम्स नीड होंगे. तो यहाँ पे इन दिस केस स्टूडेंट्स एक्स्ट्रा सेल्युलर डाइजेस्टिव एंजाइम्स आर यूज्ड. यस, वी कैन राइट इट डाउन. एक्स्ट्रा सेल्युलर digestive enzymes are used, yes, for the breakdown. तो यहाँ पे भी एंजाइम्स रहेंगी जो कि बाहर एक्स्ट्रा सेल्युलर रहेगी. गॉट इट? नाउ वन मोर थिंग स्टूडेंट्स, like I was saying, they will first take it out and yeah, so such type of digestion, what is it called? जहां पर बाहर ही कन्वर्ट हो रहा है फूड सिंपलर फॉर्म में, such type of digestion we can call it as an extracellular digestion. So saprotrophs, they shows what? They shows extracellular digestion. Got it? Always remember, ये कभी पूछा जा सकता है. These all are the points that I am giving you. These all are the extra points they can ask you. So you should remember this thing. ऐसे डाइजेशन को हम बोलेंगे एक्स्ट्रा सेल्युलर, क्योंकि ये बॉडी के बाहर हो रहा है. Yes, and after the digestion, the food is absorbed in the body. Got it, students? Look, you can see here. An example for this, we can say fungi, bacteria. These all are the example, na? So you can see यहाँ पे what they do. They secrete the digestive juice on the dead and decaying matter. डाइजेस्टिव जूस को डेड एंड डिकेइंग मैटर में सीक्रेट करेंगे. बाद में वो जूस वहाँ वो मैटर में से अपना न्यूट्रिएंट निकालेगा, उसको ब्रेक करेगा, उसको सिंपलर फॉर्म में बनाएगा एंड देन उसको एब्सॉर्ब करता है ये ऑर्गेनिज्म. Yeah, so you can write it down. Example as a fungi, bacteria and all that. Got it, students? Now the third mode I will say, it is your parasitic nutrition. Parasites. Have you heard about it? आप सबने सुना होगा parasites, है ना? So the parasitic mode of nutrition में क्या होता है? दो organisms रहेंगे. It can be 1, 2 organisms, one, or it can be one plant, one animal, in that way. 2 animals, it can be anything, 2 plants. Yeah, but what happens in this one plant or one organism, it depends on another. Yes, for the food, because it is not making its own food. Definitely these are the heterotrophic. तो ये पूरी तरह से दूसरे ऑर्गेनिज्म पे डिपेंड रहेगा, और वो जिस पे डिपेंड रहेगा उसको वो हार्म पहुंचाएगा. इट विल हार्म इट. यस, सो द ऑर्गेनिजम्स कॉल्ड एज अ पैरासाइट. जो पैरासाइट रहेगा वो क्या करेगा, वो दूसरे ऑर्गेनिज्म पे रहेगा. इट कैन लिव inside the body of the another organism, or it can live on the body of an another living organism. जिस पे रहेगा उसको हम बोलेंगे host. Got it? So 2 organisms are there. One which is dependent, that is parasite, and that is dependent on the another, that is the host. जिसके घर में जाके वो रह रहा है. तो host के घर में कौन रह रहा है? Parasite. Yes. Now the parasite is benefited. इस ये एसोसिएशन में क्या हो रहा है? पैरासाइट का फायदा हो रहा है. इट इज बेनिफिटेड बिकॉज इट इज टेकिंग द न्यूट्रिएंट्स फ्रॉम द होस्ट. बट होस्ट इज हार्म्ड. होस्ट का हार्म हो रहा है. क्यों हो रहा है? बिकॉज इट इज टेकिंग द न्यूट्रिएंट्स फ्रॉम द होस्ट. यदि फॉर एग्जाम्पल हमारे घर में हमने 5 लोगों के लिए खाना बनता है. यस, at our house every day for 5 people we make food, and that is fixed. We can make the food for 5 people. If some 2 people from the outside they come, we have not invited, हमने नहीं बुलाया, but they have arrived and they want to live with us all the time, definitely they will eat food and they will take the food of the people which was formed for the 5 person. वो 5 लोगों में से ही वो खाना खाएंगे, तो वो दोनों तो पेट भर के खाना खाएंगे. So that 5 people have to eat the remaining food. So that is a harm, isn't it? In the same way we can say, that's why I can say that the host, it will be always it will be harm there. Yes, it will be a loss, whereas the parasite is always benefited. Yeah, so ये host plant भी हो सकता है, ये host animal भी हो सकता है. As I told you, it could be an association of 2 plants, it could be association of 2 animals, it could be association of a plant and an animal. Yeah, it can be anything. So this is called as a parasitic mode of nutrition. I hope this is clear, students. Yes, but remember, in this the host is harmed, but it is not killed. मरेगा नहीं, उसको मारेगा नहीं, वो उसको नुकसान पहुंचाएगा. यू कैन सी, यहाँ पे देखो ये वाला जो एसोसिएशन है, एक प्लांट के ऊपर दूसरा प्लांट है. यू मस्ट हैव हर्ड अबाउट द कस्केटा, isn't it? So कस्केटा is cuscuta. Yes, yeah. It is a plant, students. Yes, which depends or which cannot make its own food. वो अपना खुद का खाना नहीं बना सकता है, तो वो दूसरे प्लांट पे डिपेंड रहता है. It grows on another plant, and what it will do? It takes the nutrients from that plant. Yeah. So this cuscuta, or we also called it as amar bale. This amar bale, what it do, students? It lacks chlorophyll. It do not have chlorophyll. Now उसके पास chlorophyll नहीं है, green pigment नहीं है, तो वो photosynthesis नहीं कर सकता. It cannot perform photosynthesis, so it has to depend on another plant. Yeah. So it attaches to the host plant. कोई एक host plant पे वो attach करेगा, and by its hostoria, उसके ऐसे कुछ बारीक बारीक वो स्टेम लाइक निकालता है, जिसको हम बोलते हैं हॉस्टोरिया, या फिर उसको हम बोलते हैं सकिंग रूट्स. उससे वो क्या करेगा? इट विल सक द न्यूट्रिएंट्स फ्रॉम द होस्ट प्लांट. Got it? So in that way, this cuscuta, this is an example of parasitic nutrition. There are so many other examples also, like we can say, which can we take? Lice, है ना, जुए रहती है सिर में. The lice are there in the air. So what they do? They feed on the scalp of the head there, isn't it? They are taking the blood from there. and they are harming the host. They are making the some infections phalange, or it is making the scalp infectious and like that, isn't it? So this is again an example of parasitic nutrition. Then plasmodium, you must have heard about the plasmodium, tick, lice, tapeworm, isn't it? Roundworm. All these are nothing but an example of parasitic nutrition. Yeah, plasmodium, you must have heard plasmodium. क्या cause करता है? Malaria, isn't it? It causes malaria. Then roundworm, if you have heard about that, roundworm, it lives inside the body. Body के अंदर रहते हैं roundworms. Yes, and they causes a disease in man. They can also cause disease in dogs and like that. Cattle उसमें भी रहता है. So they lives inside the body. And causes diseases. Got it, students? So these are some examples of parasitic mode of nutrition also. Now moving for the next one, I can say is your last is a symbiotic mode of nutrition. What is there in the symbiotic? Symbiotic also called as a mutualism. Here also two organisms are there. Yes, but the difference from the parasitic is that in this mode of nutrition, both the organisms are benefited. दोनों का फायदा होता है. Yes, they both are dependent on each other. They live in association. दोनों साथ में रहता है. Yeah, if one is providing food, it is possible that another it will give the shelter. एक खाना provide करेगा, so दूसरा पहले वाले को shelter provide करेगा. Yeah, for example, इस तरह से भी हो सकता है. So there are so many different examples for such association. So this is a mode of nutrition where the two organisms, they live in association that both are benefited by it. Yeah, very good example for this. You can take it anywhere. What can you say this? Rhizobium bacteria, they live here. This is a root nodule of leguminous plant. Yes, this is a root nodule of leguminous plant. Yes, who lives? Where the rhizobium bacteria lives. What will it do? ये कैसे symbiotic association है? ये जो rhizobium bacteria है students, ये वो plant के लिए nitrogen को fix करता है. Yes, it fixes the nitrogen for the plant. और in return वो क्या उसको क्या मिलता है? It receives the carbohydrate as an energy source from the plant. Plant उसको carbohydrate in return देता है. So दोनों का फायदा हो रहा है. Yes, it is getting the energy from the carbohydrate, और वो carbohydrate कहाँ से provide हो रहा है? The plants on which it is living. Yes, the leguminous plant, it is providing it. So this is a symbiotic mode of nutrition there. Got it? One more you can say, like E. coli. Have you heard about the E. coli? You must have, sorry. Yeah, E. coli is also an example. E. coli generally, students, it lives in the intestine. Lives in the intestine of man. Yes, and it synthesizes what? It synthesizes a very important vitamin. कौन सा विटामिन सिंथेसाइज करता है? विटामिन B12. ये वाला विटामिन हमारी बॉडी खुद नहीं बना सकती है. And from the food also we get it very little. Isn't it? So this E. coli which lives inside our intestine, it helps us to synthesize vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 is very essential for our body. Yeah. और रिटर्न में हमारी बॉडी इसको E. coli को क्या देती है? Yes, it gets simpler food and shelter. अंदर रहने के लिए जगह दे रही है ना. It is giving the shelter to live there as well as it is providing it the simpler food. Got it? So this is also an example of symbiotic association. Then there is one more example of lichen. Lichen क्या है? It is an association of fungus. Yes, association of fungus and algae. ये दोनों फंगस और एल्गे साथ में रहते हैं. What happens? The algae, it can make or it can go for photosynthesis, है ना? Algae can do photosynthesis, so it provides energy source. Yes, it provides energy source. और फंगस क्या देगा? फंगस उसको रहने के लिए जगह दे रहा है. It is providing the habitat for that. In that way, they are helping each other. Got it? So this is what is called as symbiotic mode of nutrition. So these were the 4 different mode of nutrition, I can say, which is based on the mode of feeding. I hope this is very much clear. So this what we have today learned. We have learned the 2 main mode of nutrition, that is autotrophic mode of nutrition as well as heterotrophic mode of nutrition. In that also, we have seen, students, the different autotrophic mode of nutrition and different heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So we will summarize, जल्दी से हम summarize कर लेंगे. हमने आज पढ़ा न्यूट्रिशन. न्यूट्रिशन में हमने पढ़ा 2 मोड ऑफ न्यूट्रिशन, जिसको हम बोलेंगे, पहला है हेटेरोट्रॉपिक and the another one is your autotrophic. ऑटोट्रॉपिक मोड ऑफ न्यूट्रिशन में हमने फिर से 2 मोड ऑफ न्यूट्रिशन पढ़े. कौन से पढ़े? एक पढ़ा हमने फोटो ऑटोट्रॉपिक and another one that we have discussed, it is your chemoautotropic. Or chemoautotrophs I will write. Yes, example sulfur bacteria. और यहाँ पर एग्जाम्पल आप लिखोगे फोटो वाले में प्लांट्स, isn't it? उसी तरह से यदि मैं हेटेरोट्रॉपिक मोड ऑफ न्यूट्रिशन पढ़ते हैं on the base of mode of feeding, again if I am saying, we will discuss that 4 that we have discussed now. First one was holozoic. Example I can say human and amoeba also, you can write it down. Then the second was saprotropic. Example fungi, bacteria. Third one we have seen is a parasitic mode. Yes, example was cuscata. Got it? And last we have seen was symbiotic. Example, you can write it down, rhizobium. तो आज हमने ये सारा पढ़ा है. In the next class, students, now we are going to discuss the new mode of nutrition. In that we will see the nutrition in amoeba. We are going to discuss nutrition in human beings, that will be under heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Also in the autotrophic mode of nutrition, we are going to discuss the nutrition in plants, है ना, जहाँ पर हम फोटोसिंथेसिस के बारे में डिटेल में पढ़ेंगे, कुछ एक्सपेरिमेंट्स पढ़ेंगे, and there are so many very interesting things that we are going to discuss in the next classes. So be there, students. Yes, I hope हमने आज जो पढ़ा, it is understood to all of you. Yeah, so till we meet for the next class, till then, students, thank you all for attending the class. Keep learning. All the best for your studies. Yes, and you can, if you have not downloaded the app, you can download the Arth Academy app, because ये app में आपको different courses मिलेंगे which are related to your studies, and in that courses with the explanation part, students, you will also get the notes, the study material, as well as the important question answers and test to know your knowledge also. Yes, so you can download the app and you can get the detailed things about the courses. I hope you like it, students. So till then, bye bye. Take care, students. Bye. Have a good day.